Angus, if you don't know it, is a very small rural authority. So our ESOL learners tend to be quite spread out geographically. We also have a fluctuating number of ESOL learners because it very much depends on employability, what employability is available, what businesses are recruiting. So we experience difficulties that other people in rural authorities will share and be well aware of that aren't so much the case in bigger urban authorities. We struggle with things like transport. Learners are not able to transport themselves often from one town to the next, which means that we have classes, evening classes primarily, with very small numbers of learners, but we have lots of them dotted across the authority.
Dundee's a very small city. You could probably walk from one side to the other in about 40 minutes. So we don't have any of the transport issues that our neighbours in Angus have to deal with. It's also a very diverse city. We've got a very long history of welcoming new communities in Dundee. And subsequently, we have a lot of ESOL learners. Our classes are very full. We teach around 150 learners in Dundee City Council classes at any one time.
We have quite a big department across the two campuses, but most of it is in Gardyne, with 11 streams of full-time students in Gardyne and just 2 in Arbroath. We also have part-time courses on our portfolio and quite a number of classes which we provide in partnership with the Dundee and the Angus ESOL community partnership.
The Women's Centre has existed since 1969 and has worked with women in Dundee from lots of different countries, a lot of different backgrounds, educational, cultural backgrounds, and women who have lived in Dundee for a long time or just for a few months. And we aim to help these women integrate in their new lives in Dundee and to help them gain the confidence, the self-esteem and the qualifications that they need to fulfill their dreams and their potential here.
This partnership has been in place for a number of years, and I think we work very well together. The strengths of this partnership are the staff on both sides and the lines of communication, which are open and honest and effective. So I think as a partnership, we get things done.
The partnership isn't so much about distributing funding, although I think that is what first brought us together. But now we've developed to the point where really it's primarily around planning based on a shared understanding of the data, based on joint evaluation and identification of need and demand. So that allows us to plan really well together. We carry out an annual survey of all of the learners across Dundee and Angus. And that helps us to understand where we're getting it right and where we need to improve.
We use a variety of different budgets and funding models and core funding to work together because we think that's a good thing. So our staff work across a variety of different settings. We've got Dundee International Women's Centre staff deliver for us in community centres. Our Dundee City Council staff have delivered in the International Women's Centre. We've got college staff who are delivering in the community and in community centres and in the International Women's Centre. We've got Angus learners who've come and learned with us in Dundee before. So there's a lot of collaboration and there's a lot of richness from that, which is great.
Since we've been delivering online, we've actually been able to move into more joint delivery. So for example, Dundee and Angus has been able to deliver classes with learners from both areas, and that's worked quite well for some of our learners. The other thing I think that makes our partnership work well is that we're very lucky in Dundee and Angus that our partners in Dundee and Angus College have a good understanding of community-based ESOL delivery, and they support that really well.
First of all, we work with many women who are not able to attend college for various reasons. It might be because they don't have the confidence, they don't have a formal educational background, they have young children. It might be because the families do not agree for them to attend college setting. So the fact that the college comes to the center in our local community and delivers college level learning has been fantastic.
I mean, I believe we have a really strong partnership, and I think it works well because we have a respect for each other on a personal level, not just the leads, but the teachers and all the other people who are involved in making the successful courses. And I think part of that is that we accept that each organisation works in a different way and that each organisation has a unique contribution to make. And we're able to create provision that draws on that expertise and that difference from each one of those partners to provide something which is more meaningful and more relevant to our learners. Sometimes we don't know exactly what's going on at any given time within each partnership, and I think if we knew more about all the provision that was being offered, maybe we'd be able to tie it in a little better. I think another of the challenges we have is the processes and the processes we have to go through and all the hoops we have to jump through behind the scenes, whether that's for funding or whether that's for getting a new course up and running.
In terms of challenge, I think the biggest difficulty that we face is less about the operation of the partnership and more about the demands that have been made on us since the Scottish Government funding moved from being distributed through the Community Planning Partnership and went to the SFC. That's caused some issues for all of us. For the CLD partners, the requirement for funding to be for credit-bearing activity has been quite difficult to meet. We're not even that clear yet whether this is or isn't the case. In Angus particularly, we've also struggled because historically our CLD delivery has been largely core funded, and the Scottish Government funding was used to allow learners to practice and improve their language skills in real life settings. We've also depended on childcare funding to allow parents who struggle to participate. So with these challenges in the past few years, I think it's really been the strength of the partnership and the way that we've all been able to work together that's allowed us to meet these and continue to deliver and get good outcomes for our learners across the authorities.
One thing that has been very important is creche, providing creche, and it has been both a strength in the past few years and also a challenge to keep getting the funding to provide childcare, so that these women feel that they can just go for it.
The needs of the students in the community outreach centres tend to be very different. I know you work with a lot of refugees or asylum seekers or students who face much more tangible barriers perhaps. The college traditionally has worked with migrant workers, many of them in employment, settled in Scotland with their families. So the needs are different. The language needs are the same and the teaching needs are the same, but the challenge is making sure that we can help them to overcome these barriers and put in place the best education they can get to help them move, progress, integrate, and be part of our community and our society.
For me, one of the challenges for the partnership is that our learners don't necessarily neatly fit into boxes, and their issues aren't necessarily issues that can be addressed through normal systems. So, for example, we have women who may be victims of financial abuse, so they have no access to their own money, although their husbands may be very wealthy. and therefore they would never be eligible for a childcare grant or for bursaries, and so will be prevented from moving on in their lives and in their learning. Previously, before there was such a pressure for college activity, partnership activity to be credit bearing, we were able to use partnership funds to support women according to the needs that we understood and knew, although those needs don't necessarily fit well onto a form. And for me, that's a worry, because we know that learning English and education is a really important tool for empowering individuals and communities. The Transitional Pathways came from a realization that some of our learners were struggling with college, and some of them had gone to college and applied to college and then had dropped out and thus lost one of their years of bursary funding. So we decided to have a more supported induction, and it's been a great success.
We work with a women at the IWC who dream of going to college, but they require a lot of support. They are worried about what life is like at the college. They are not sure how to apply, how to fill in forms. They don't know how to get to college. And so Transitional Pathways has been a great way for them to find out about all these issues and to gain the confidence to move on to formal education.
They'll come into college 2 days a week. They know they have to be on time. They know attendance is important. They have an official register. They get a Dundee and Angus College email. They are introduced to the Dundee and Angus College systems that they have to use while they're a student at the college. They see textbooks. They see the classroom. They see the environment in which they will be working on a full-time course, so they can see if it suits them or not.
So one of the key successes is we have a member of staff from the community who comes and teaches on it. And similarly, we've got a member of staff at college who teaches in the community. So there are key links, and that is absolutely fundamental to making it work, because there's a familiar face.
I find it very rewarding because I work in 2 places and I can see both sides, and it's very, gives you the satisfaction to see your learners progressing and trusting.
I think one of the things that works well is that they can see, well, one is me. They see me. They've got me in the community, and then they've got me in college. And I think that helps, because that's a person they know. If they don't go into college, I've warned them beforehand and said, we're going to be doing these things. I know where they've come from. I know what they're used to, so that when they come to college, I think, that's different. You're not used to this. I need to explain.
We do invite students from Angus as well, because obviously we're Dundee and Angus. Obviously that's more challenging transport-wise. And we have the Dundee International Women's Centre are also a partner. So the students come from all different places. And really, it's a chance for them to see, is college for them? In some cases it's not. Some people decide they're happier to remain in the community groups, but a lot of them have come to college and have thrived and flourished.
Working out the logistics of going from home to the creche to the college in time to start the class. So it gives opportunity for the students to try all these things out and see whether college is right for them. And sometimes after the course, some students decide that it isn't the right thing, and that's absolutely fine, because that's one of the aims of the course in the first place, to give those informed, to give information so that they can make decisions. Yeah, we've learned as we've gone along, and we're still learning, and we'll still make changes to it. But I think that's the course which shows the collaboration between all of our 4 partners.
It's absolutely great. because we have the support from everywhere. We learn with each other and we support each other. And it's all the same goal, which is to focus on the learners. So I absolutely love working, with a variety of teachers from different, backgrounds. And yeah, it's very, very positive.